We got an action-packed show for you today. First up in the tech world, Logitech is talking about a new type of mouse that lasts forever. What's that mean? We'll talk about it. Then our case today has to do with social media, Facebook and Instagram. What is appropriate to share on your social media page and what isn't? We'll give you our verdict. What you are listening to is real. The parties involved are not cool. They are actual geeks with a case pending in the court of public opinion. The party's case has been dismissed, and the dispute will be settled here on our podcast. There will be no lawyers. There will be no witness testimony. The judge's decisions are final.
Hello, I'm Judge Ivan.
I'm Judge Jonathan, and this is Geeks on Trial. Today's case, don't share this.
Welcome to Geeks on Trial. This is the podcast where we settle petty disputes between actual geeks over movies, video games, board games, and more. If you'd like to submit your own geeky case, you can email us at geeksontrial@gmail.com. You can also help support the show over at patreon.com/geeksontrial. You get early access to this show, our audio show, plus you get 2 bonus shows out every month. Geeks on Trial Sidebar. That's over at the old patreon.com/geeksontrial.
It's great. However you want to tune in, we appreciate you being here. It's hot.
It's warm.
Hot out there.
It's a hot summer.
It's warm. It's hot and it's warm and it's summertime. It's not winter.
No. That'd be weird if it was winter.
But luckily, what we do is we don't usually wear anything under our robes.
No.
These aren't shirts. This is just
This is my
skin defects.
saggy, burnt skin from being out in the sun for way too long.
Yeah. But it's
well.
nice and breezy underneath here, like a kilt, like a big kilt.
It's a big kilt or a dress.
I think that's how they do it in actual courtrooms. Like the judges don't have anything under there.
Why would they? Why do you think they sit behind a giant desk so they can cross their legs and not showing anything?
Right. Well, we're getting into some geeky stuff today. We've got a case for you all about the intranet. Before that, of course, we have a little topic to discuss. Something you sent my way, Ivan. You brought my attention to this. It has to do with the mouse, the computer mouse that you're now holding right in your very little hand. It is a very little hand, isn't it?
It's also a very little mouse.
That is a little mouse that you're showing right now for audio listeners.
It's a very small
travel
mouse. Yes.
My mouse is my travel mouse, and it's, by the way, a Logitech mouse.
I was going to ask you, are you a Logitech boy? Because right now I think, what are these? These are Corsair is all my mouse and keyboards right now. Wow. But for my wireless stuff and my webcams, I use the old Logitech. Now, what if I told you? What if I told you that Logitech would want you to pay a subscription fee to use your things?
What? My things?
Your things, like your mouse, for example.
My mouse, for example? Your mouse.
Well, the fine folks over at Logitech apparently are just losing money. I don't know why they would be doing this. But Logitech is putting out a forever mouse, a mouse that is supposed to last forever. Or, well, really, they just want you to pay forever to use your mouse. And there's going to be a monthly fee of some kind of money. And it's so you can use it. And if you don't pay that monthly fee, you can't use your mouse anymore.
Well, let's backtrack a little bit because they didn't actually say they're putting this out. This is there was an interview with the new CEO.
Right.
And this was like an idea that she floated.
You know it's
that there's potential that they were like, what she was they were talking about the mouse and how they could innovate in Logitech and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, she said there's this concept of the forever mouse, which could be like a fancy mouse. I don't really know. She kind of said it's like the Rolex of a mouse or something.
Yeah. And if you look at the pictures, it's like it's made up.
Is there actual pictures, or is this something someone made up?
I don't know if there's actual pictures that I sent you. The picture that's on the Discord.
Well, there was a PC Gamer article you sent me, but the Verge interview that I read, which is where this came from, I think she was just kind of talking about this shit like, yeah, I don't think they were saying this is a product that's coming. So maybe someone mocked it up as like or maybe it's just some other Logitech mouse probably that's like, what if this is what it looked like?
But it's definitely
this is why you gotta do your research, folks, because these PC gamers of the world are making shit up.
It's true. But it definitely, from what it sounds like, is they're going to put like more effort into this mouse, and it's going to be more like, substantial.
Well, I'm confused. Yeah, it's some kind of like a nice mouse that would receive. Presumably, you'd be paying for certain like driver updates.
Right.
The idea being that right now you just buy a new mouse every so often.
Yeah.
And instead, they're saying, well, what if your mouse you always had, but you paid for the upkeep of the mouse?
But the upkeep in a very oddly like digital download way. Like I don't think they're going to be sending you like, oh, if my clicker stops clicking,
A new trackball.
we're not sending you a new trackball or a new scrolly wheel. Like I would pay for. If it was like if I was like a PC gamer or whatever, and they're like, hey, you pay $10 a month, and if your scroll wheel stops scrolling, we'll send you a new piece, or we'll send you a new. Oh, you need a new wire? We'll send you a new wire. But this isn't something that like interests me in the slightest because there's a company that makes printers and computers that kind of did this for a while. They're called HP printers. They did a subscription service to use their printer, and they rolled that back quite quickly. And I don't know.
I think they still, the subscription service is called, you have to buy the ink.
Right, well, that's
the
basically it.
service.
But yeah, no, they had there's a subscription service where it's like to print, you have to sign up for the HP software, and it's basically the same thing as this. But let me ask you this question.
It's what everyone's trying to do these days. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because there's money. Like the only way to make money because things last forever and you don't need to update things is on a subscription service. But let me ask you this: when's the last time you bought a new mouse?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I did buy one like within the last few years, I think, but before that was probably like at least 5 to 7 years.
And like you probably didn't need to. It's probably like, oh, I should get a new mouse, or like
I can't remember. I think maybe I had one that did start to get kind of jittery and the connection wasn't as good or something like that. I don't remember why, but
my other question with the whole thing is like, how often do you update your mouse?
Right.
Like
mouse what
is
is it if the mouse is good?
Right.
Like if it's a solid mouse, what am I paying for? What are the updates that my mouse is like? The cursor is faster now. Like what does that mean?
And then the other thing I'm thinking of is like, okay, I've never actually thought about my mouse and keyboard in any updating fashion at all. Are they taking stuff away before we get this mouse? You know what I'm saying?
If you want that M key, you better pay $20 a month.
Minus adding, like the biggest innovation in mice was the laser, like getting rid of the trackball and you have a laser, like maybe having the extra buttons on the side.
Mm-hmm.
But like
this might be something that's more, they talk about gamers in this interview a lot. I mean, we sometimes will play PC games, but we're not competitive PC game players.
I mean,
maybe for I think you're ranked number 1 in League of Legends right now.
100%.
But maybe for gaming people, they're like, oh, I want the mouse with all the fastest shit in it.
Right, but isn't that like a physical thing? Like
I would think, but maybe there's something. Now, another thing that they bring up a few times in this interview, it's long, by the way, they talk about a lot of weird stuff, is AI and integrating AI into both keyboards and maybe mice. So maybe that's part of it. Again, it was not made clear to me what AI is going to do in your mouse or keyboard. I don't know.
And then like, are they what chips are they adding to the mice now? Because it's the most basic thing in your computer besides your keyboard is your mouse. And like, and I don't know like what else. I keep staring at my physical mouse being like, what aren't you doing?
What do you want from me?
Like the only thing my mouse does is it has colors. Like I could do color lights on it. That's about it.
Oh, neat.
But there is software for it. But usually like I've never had to download besides a driver to use it on a specific computer. I never had to download mouse software. Like
it's confusing. I don't know. Now there is part of me that's like maybe, trying to see the other side of this. And it's like, well, I do not buy a mouse that often already. How much is this subscription? If it's $20 a year and it's a good quality mouse that will last me for a long time,
sure,
then maybe that's worthwhile, or maybe that's not a horrible idea.
If they're doing something with it. And at the same time, like if Logitech is the only company doing this, then people will be like, oh, I could probably go get the exact same mouse made by Corsair, or like there's other like they're not
unless it's successful and then other companies start doing the same
thing. That's
thing.
The other thing, right? But then my other question is then will Windows like block you from using your mouse? Like,
well, right. That's another part of it is if you don't pay the subscription service? Is it like how on like a phone you
Mm,
can keep using your phone forever, you just won't get the software updates, the system updates
right,
anymore? That's what gets phased out. But it's like you still have a phone,
right.
so it's like if you stop paying the subscription fee, isn't it still just a mouse, or is it like
Exactly.
no, your mouse doesn't work any? It's like having Photoshop and not paying the fee. It's
Well,
like
the biggest thing I
you
thought
have to
about this
pay.
was like back in the day, I used to have Norton antivirus, and then like if you stop paying for Norton, they froze your computer. They're like, well, you can't use your computer without
We'll give you the virus.
right, without antivirus
It's
software. It's
it's
not
an
safe.
extortion. It would be a shame if something were to happen to your computer right
Right,
now.
so it just seems kind of weird, and it's like, what else is next? Like, yeah, fine, cell phones, you kind of had to do that with because it's a physical piece of technology, but like, what if they're offering upgrades to the mouse? Like, hey, you can get this. Like, oh, like I said, the physical pieces stopped working. Sure, that'd be kind of cool. And it's like the same thing. Like, I wouldn't mind that on like a game controller. Like, if I gamed that much, where it's like, oh, the joystick is getting weird. I can pay a subscription fee and they'll send me a new joystick. I can pop into it. Fine. But if it's just like, oh, we're gonna update your DPI and your mouse speed, and it's like, okay.
Scroll even faster than ever before.
And by the way, that's the only
Yeah,
thing I know about mice is like you want like you like have like it's good to have DPI, like so you don't jitter.
yeah,
That's about it.
yeah. I too know about DP.
Hmm?
I um
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
suspect that this I don't I think
It's
that the reaction to this is going to be very negative. In fact, I wonder if they even said like talked about this on purpose to test what
right.
reaction was
Oh,
online.
100%. That's the only reason why they
Certainly they're looking at that.
and like what we are getting to a plateau in a lot of technology, TVs, mice, keyboards of like what else do we change? You know, like between
Right.
me and Danny, we have like a bucket of mice and keyboards that we can like, oh, it's not working. We can go get that one. Sure, it's not the gaming thing that we have, but it's like we still have something to use. So it's like, do we really need to update unless it breaks? No. And that's the thing. Sure, like we were saying, the gaming PC, the gaming mice, I know for a while they had like gaming mice that had like a fan in it to cool your hand down, or you could put like, they had weights that you could put into it to make it different. But that's like a
To
very
cool
niche
your
market, and
hand
I'm
down.
not sure if Logitech is the gaming mouse people. Like they're not
I
Razer, they're not
I don't know. Yeah, I mean they are in that field. I don't know if they're number one, but
right.
they do some aspect of it. Part of this, I think, too, is just when you're a new CEO,
You have to have,
you have to
yeah,
do something new. You
right.
have to shake things up somehow to raise your profits, margins, or
And
whatever.
even if this never takes off, now people are talking about it. Like
We're
people,
talking about it,
like oh, but I should get a new mouse before they do this, or like
but
something stupid
also
like that.
I'm just not the market for this at all because I would never pay more than like $30 for a mouse.
Yeah,
I'm just not that person. I just don't like. What do I need that for? I
yeah.
don't need a nice fancy mouse.
Like I think the only thing I've ever updated on a mouse, and you're right, I think I spent $20 on this mouse if it didn't come with the keyboard. And I think the only thing I've ever updated on the mouse is the little feet on the bottom to make it smoother. That's it.
Mm, yeah,
That's all.
those
It's
little
all.
feet.
And like, are you wireless only for your mouse?
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Are you kidding me? I don't know wires here.
Oh, interesting. Even your keyboard is wireless.
No, it's plugged in.
Uh,
There's one wire. I
but
lied.
no, yeah, I'm strictly wired for my mouse just because I
You're
hate.
strictly. I didn't even think that was a thing people did
Yep.
still.
And this is a new mouse too.
That's actually shocking to me. I'm very surprised.
I for a few reasons. One, in Photoshop, I've had issues with it like lagging occasionally, and two, I don't like batteries. I'm
Well,
not a
I
battery
just
person.
have so many rechargeable AA. I mean, it lasts for like
Oh yeah.
a year.
Now I do have
maybe like 7 months before I have to swap this.
now the mouse I was showing
I just
before.
love holding this up all
This
the
is
time.
my travel mouse. It's like extremely. It fits in the palm of my hands, and it's like it has
Mm,
to be 10 years old. Like the dongle that it comes out of it
that's
is
fun. Oh,
massive.
that's yeah,
But
yeah. That's a much bigger one than they make now.
I think they do that for it to fit inside the little mouse.
I can do that. I can stuff a little USB clicker in here.
But yeah, I just use that
But
because like
yeah, I'm surprised. I can understand gaming people. I feel like that's the thing where you don't want input lag.
right
But for like everyday use,
now
I got enough wires.
everything on my desk right now is wired.
Weird. You're a weird guy.
Except for my phone charger. I have a wireless phone charger.
That's the. Oh, I got a wire there.
Ah.
I mean, the mouse is my only thing that is wireless. Actually,
Well, your
but what else
headphones?
would I have? The ones that I'm. Do
Are
you
they
see a wire?
not
Do
your?
you see a wire?
You're in my. Oh yeah.
Yeah, they've been wireless for the entire show. I've
Mhm.
never, or maybe in the beginning I had a wire, but
Right.
yeah, no. Get those wires out of here. I don't want them.
I want more wires.
I don't want
Give
them.
me extra wires.
You can have all mine. There's
take your
enough of them
wires.
over there in a friggin' clump. Anyway, look forward to the Forever Mouse. I honestly,
I don't see it.
part of me thinks I mean, you announced it was already coming out at the beginning of the show, but now you agree with me that I don't think it's going to come
Now,
out.
what I think
That's my
Logitech
guess.
should put in, like, more research and development, webcams. Maybe update a webcam, because
Well,
you and I have
working
the
on it.
best Logitech webcam that's out now, and it's like 18 years old. So
they're listening. They're watching. That new CEO is watching. I'm forwarding this to her.
good.
Let's talk about a case, shall we?
Okay. Do I have to pay a subscription fee for it?
No,
Not for this show.
no, it's free. If you want it a day or two early, then yes.
Right.
$5 a month.
And if you want me to update your drivers, I will do that for $5 a month. They won't be good.
Yeah. Our case today comes from the internet. You can find a link in our episode description. Our defendant today is Erica. Erica happens to be pregnant with a human child. And she recently had a series of maternity photos taken with her husband to celebrate the happy occasion. After sharing these photos on her Facebook and Instagram pages, her mother-in-law, Marilyn, asks if she can also share those same photos to her Facebook page. Erica does not like this idea because Marilyn has hundreds more friends on her Facebook, and it's mostly people that she does not know, and she doesn't really feel comfortable getting those photos out into the world for a bunch of strangers to gawk at. Unfortunately, there's a miscommunication. Erica's husband tells his mother that it's okay to share those photos. She does so, and then when he realizes the mistake, he tells her to take them down again. She does that too, with the exception of one cropped photo featuring Erica's pregnant stomach. Ugh. And her husband's face right next to it.
Ugh.
Erica still feels weird about this, even though her face is cropped out of it, but she's also worried that maybe she's overreacting. As dual judges here on Geeks on Trial, it's now our job to determine whether Marilyn's baby Sharon is Karen, or if Erica's right, and she's a bit of a Karen.
Huh. See what you did there. That is a thing.
I did some things.
There.
We're back in the social media world.
Yeah,
We're in Zuck's domain.
We're in Facebook,
And Instagram.
Yes, a social media that
Mostly
is
Facebook.
kind of dying.
Meta.
To our generation. I feel like Facebook is
Yes.
is very much fading out. We both have
the
Facebook
domain
accounts.
of boomers.
We both have Facebook accounts. I mainly use mine to keep up with family. Like, it's like, people don't email anymore. It's like, oh, I'm inviting you to a thing via a Facebook event, or, did you see your cousin's photos? We posted them on Facebook. It's basically a family place now, where it used to be for all the college kids to trade faces. But no, it's for families now, and your mom and your dad and your grandmother to be like, oh, you went to a place? Me too. That's basically it.
Oh, well, I mean, what it's really for is Trumpers to talk about how the youth is bad and share memes and fake news about AI generated.
Do you often go
shit.
through Facebook at all? Like, doom scroll
I
Facebook?
do not touch Facebook other than, sometimes Facebook Messenger, there's stuff on there, or events sometimes, but usually I won't look and I don't know if I'm invited to something.
Right. I think that's
go
ahead.
I'll sell some things through Facebook Marketplace.
I think Facebook is very good at three things, and those are the things you listed. Their messenger service. If you're not a person who uses Discord, I feel like Facebook Messenger is by far the best group texting thing for family members and friends groups, because you can make groups that also have the Facebook Messenger in there, and they did a damn good job. Marketplace is really good because it's it's just better than eBay, because you can look
better
by
than Craigslist
region. You can look by they've gotten that down.
I don't know if I think it's better than eBay, but it's for
better
local. I use it for local selling only.
It's better for eBay for local stuff, I feel like. If you want to, does
eBay do local stuff? I didn't even know that.
I think you can, or at one point they did. And And I forgot the other thing I was going for. Oh, and I do think they have a decent video platform. They, just like everyone else, has like a shorts thing
Right.
that people post to, and I will get lost in that as well. But you're right. A lot of times, like just regular general posts that everyone can see now because are very like spammy, very, very AI generated and poorly AI generated. Often it pops up in my timeline is, I bet you this photo won't get shared. And it's like a Trump flag plastered in American flags with a baby holding a shotgun with a helmet on. Like, I'm like, who taught you people how to use AI?
It is funny how, the internet kind of moves like a hermit crab from shell to shell. And we all started with like, there was Friendster and Zanga, and then of course there's MySpace, and then we moved to Facebook. And then it seemed like Twitter and Facebook kind of lived in harmony for a while. Now there's Instagram and TikTok. And usually what would happen in the past to these platforms is when a new one emerged, the old ones would just die. But in this instance, just one generation of people left and a different generation stayed.
Yeah, you're right.
Really weird.
They took over that shell, and it's like, okay, we're moving in.
We were like, like a bunch of old people came to this party, and this is no longer cool.
Listen, our generation fucked
now
up.
We're the old people. On TikTok, we're the old people, but
we fucked up because we taught them how to use it.
yeah, now this is all they know.
That's all they
don't
know. But it's not even like
else.
just our parents' generation. It is a very specific conspiracy theory, right-wing group of people who basically use that, even though they have their own social media. It is I think I use it a lot for trolling as well. I love looking at the comments.
You do the trolling?
No.
You just read the trolling?
I'm a lurker for the trolls. I love it.
You like the drama.
I love reading the drama.
You're a gossip girl. It's I have not I don't post much on social media in general these days, but I can't remember the last time I shared something to Facebook.
Right.
Like once a year, I see birthday messages from there's like 6 people. Every year, the number gets smaller and smaller.
Well, because I think they're just leaving Facebook or dying.
Yeah. Or they're like, I don't ever post, so why would they even remember that I'm there? It's not like I don't blame anyone for not saying happy birthday.
But do you keep it, because like there's a select few family members who it's like they're too old to be like using text properly, and it's like that group is like how I keep up with them.
None. No.
Okay.
There are maybe 2 or 3 family members in my life that post on social media, and if it's on Instagram, that's probably where it is. If it's on Facebook, I don't care. I'm not interested. I don't care.
And I also notice a thing too, because Facebook is kind of like, Facebook is forever. Like Facebook posts, once you post a picture or something to Facebook, it is just on the internet forever. And I think as we move to the next shell and the next social media, it gets that window disappears. So it's like, okay, Instagram, it's mainly for photos and videos, but then TikTok, that kind of goes away. And then you have your Snapchat, which is like, there's 0 history. So I do think that's where we like go down that road of like erasing our social media history more and more. And that's like the next thing.
Yeah. I think we need to, so they talk about in this thing about having how many friends they have and how like, personal it is. It sounds like she's implying, maybe not, maybe Marilyn, that's what it is, just has a lot of like people in her family that she actually knows.
Well, it's also too, like a lot of older people, it's like, oh, these people have the same last name as us, let's friend them. I'm trying to see.
Right, that's what I was going to say. Like, what is is your Facebook just people you really know, or do you have a lot of, these are a bunch of freaks that they friend requested me, so whatever.
I think it's, I'm looking at my Facebook page right now. I have 360 friends.
We've done this before. I remember comparing this. I can't remember what our...
But I would say most of it is people that I know or have known in person, mostly. So family members, people from high school, college.
Your number was 360?
360.
My number is 162. So I'm much more of an Erica.
But I also too, like, that number went up when I started commingling families.
Networking? Oh, well, you have a second family.
I have, my in-law side of the family.
Is that 200 people family though? That's a lot of...
It's probably about 100 people.
Okay, but so
Yeah.
that's still more than
But
I have
I
on
would
you.
say most of the like scrolling through right now, it's people from high school, coworkers. Like it's rarely people
Hmm.
that I see on a monthly, weekly, daily basis.
Oh God, no, yeah, no. I mean, even when I used Facebook, it wasn't people I see on a regular basis. It's all like yeah, like you said, we did this one thing
Right.
together one time. It's a person I knew for 3 months,
And that's the other
and
thing.
that's
Yeah.
it.
Like yeah, sure, you're on there, our other close friends are on there, but that's not
Right.
where we interact at all. So it's like yeah, it'll be people that
Yeah.
I've worked with, people that I've done plays with, project. That's the good thing I like about it for the networking, for like media stuff and filming stuff and doing play stuff is the best place to interact with these people with not like giving out personal like oh I don't like maybe I don't want you to have my phone number but
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah. It has its uses.
so like networking via Facebook is the best because I'm not going to use what am I going to use LinkedIn I'm not
Twitter used to be when Twitter
yeah
wasn't a shit show. It was
right
really good for that.
yeah
Um.
but
So
like
that.
the other the other issue with social media now is it's very niche so it's either like it's going to be for photos it's going to be for video and that's about it. Where Facebook it was is about like posts. So it is a lot of text stuff and like I'm doing this. It's more so a network than
So
the
here's
other medias are.
my next question is, uh, do you do you make any of either your Instagram or your Facebook, are they private in some way? Like, do you have to be your friend to see stuff? And then within those, do you do the thing where only certain people, like, you check who you want to see your posts when you hit them?
Facebook. Facebook is locked down. Just because like I think there's more stuff on there that I can't control, which
Hmm.
is kind of what this case is today. Of like I'll post a pic or somebody will post a picture and tag me in it. I have that very locked down to I have to approve that tag. Not even
Hmm.
because it's like, oh, I don't want people to know where I am or whatever. But like we're also we do things online. Like we do shows, we do stuff like that. So it's like, okay, maybe I don't want people to know that I'm like somewhere that I shouldn't be or like
Whoa,
you
it's the
know.
strip club. What does that
Yeah,
mean?
the Trump rallies. Right.
Okay, yeah, yeah. We want to keep that
Right.
quiet. Yeah, I'm very. I mean, like I said, I don't really post on Facebook
Right.
anymore. But for a while, I definitely had like certain family members that were just people that I didn't know, like cousins and stuff that I would never see. That I'm like, I don't need them to see my weird the joke I made about Hitler or whatever.
Right.
Like that's not really for them. I know that's not going to go over well. So I was
Right.
like, just a specific set of people. I honestly, part of my relief of like Blue Sky existing and stop using Twitter was also like people, my family members starting to understand what Twitter is
Right. And
and
then
being
moving
like,
over and you'd
now
be like,
they're
oh.
talking to me about Twitter, and now I'm like, okay, Blue Sky they don't know about yet. I
Right.
can say what I want over there.
Well, and that's the other thing too of like back when we were online, the internet was the Wild West that like our generation,
Hmm.
yeah, for other generations, not making it a generation thing, but like our generation was like kind of gatekeepy about and like people just didn't like go onto forums. Like you had to be a nerd to go onto this forum or whatever. But with social media, even with Facebook when it first came out, you had to be a college student.
Right,
You had to have a
originally.
.edu, and that was great. But then like more, it's like oh, their mom is on Facebook. They're like that's why like
Yeah,
it's
this is
weird.
something that I've heard Dan Harmon talk about, who the creator of Rick and Morty and
Hmm.
Community, who had a podcast. That like he when the internet first started, he did a podcast, he had blogs, and he would just unfiltered
Right.
posts, like very like down to earth, like real, potentially problematic, but like the shit he was feeling and
Right.
thinking, and it would hit like 100 people would like know who he was and care and comment, but there were the people who would understand and like read it and think it was interesting and talk to him and laugh at it. And then by the like later years of his podcast, he basically stopped, like he stopped the podcast. Part of the reason he just pulled back from the internet was that it came to a point where, I mean, he's more famous than us, but in general I think this applies, that you couldn't just say whatever you wanted, because now that was going to end up in a newspaper the next day if he said
Right.
something the wrong way.
Or like if you even like go back to like Facebook, like how we used to use it in high school, like we used to like just talk to each other via posts on a thing, and like if Dan Harmon was like shut the up to somebody,
Right.
and they'd be like, oh, there's news going on. It's like
the
no,
next day, Dan Harmon tells a guy to shut the fuck up.
right.
Yeah.
But the other thing I do love about Facebook too is the history that is on it. I've been on Facebook I think since 2006.
You look at those memories.
Well, every now and then it pops up and I was like, oh yeah, I remember like we did this. Gen Con just happened not so long ago. So 10 years of us going to Gen Con popped up and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember like we flew the first year. We did that, like that
Mine
kind of
are
stuff
always
is
embarrassing. It's like 14 years ago, I said, I can't wait to see the last Airbender movie. It's going to be awesome. It's all shit like that that I'm like, oh God.
cool. But most of like,
no one see this.
I like the photo stuff on it because it's like, oh, it's like, it's a where was I then versus now. And usually it's more positive. Like, oh, we've moved on, stuff like that. So it's kind of cool. Like I think I used to post more like, oh, just bought my first new car, and then it's like that kind of stuff.
Right.
Where now it's like it is.
I don't do any of that stuff.
But like that was kind of stuff we did. Like that's how you used it early on, and like
Right.
But now it's like the boomers Reddit.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so we established whether or not we share stuff to other people. What's your position on if someone else, like, do people ever ask you, like, do you mind if I share this for a family thing, or are they just like, I'm gonna share this without talking to you?
There's a lot of pictures that you'll see of like, oh, it will be at Thanksgiving, and somebody just takes a Thanksgiving photo of the entire, and it's usually somebody like making a stupid like face or like I'm midway eating like an entire pie or something.
Yes.
But what I said before was I have all of my tags. I approve them.
But that's on Facebook. Can you do that on Instagram?
I don't know.
Or they don't even have to. Even if they don't tag you, they could still post the picture. Right?
And that like I don't really care because like they took the like if I wouldn't to say something, I should have said don't take my photo in person.
But then you're the guy. Sometimes you don't want to say that because you're like, I don't want to be the guy.
Also, is it that big of an issue? Like, unless, like I said, unless it's like, oh, I'm at a bar and I shouldn't be drinking, or like you're. That's the only like.
Yes.
Or you're somewhere.
What you're saying is,
be.
if you have nothing to hide, why shouldn't you be afraid from the world to see everything you're doing?
Right. Truthfully. And like it depends. Like if it's like a family photo.
Don't agree to that. I'm trying to catch you in something. You're supposed to say no. Go on.
But like even like oh, it's a family group photo. Somebody posts it. Okay, fine. It's not.
Just probably this is just true in general. I mean, even though I have a public internet persona to some extent, I tend to not. I mean, there's not many things I go to where people are taking my picture, to be honest. But there are definitely times when I'm at a thing and an aunt or whatever is taking pictures, and sometimes I'm like, I just came here. I didn't like look nice. I'm wearing a shitty shirt, and I'm like, don't post that. I don't need people to see that.
At that point, it is your responsibility to step out of the photo.
Well, but what if they're like, I don't mind my photo being taken. It's the sharing that's the part that I don't like. I think if it's for your family, for you, I'm fine with my aunt or mom having a picture of us for their shelf. I just don't need that going out to every. Yeah, you and me. So I don't need that necessarily going out to every person that they know that I don't know.
I think
that's
at
the part
this
that's weird.
moment in time. Now this is different.
This is victim blaming, but go on.
This is different than our.
I think it's similar. You don't think this is the case?
Well, because you took these. The person.
She shared them on the internet at first.
Right.
This is
a photo. The photo that was being posted by the mother-in-law was technically a stolen photo.
Right.
If you want to boil it down to it, I think it is.
She didn't know she was stealing it, but
I think it is different. Like if you're at a family function, your aunt or uncle, mom, dad, whatever.
But it doesn't have to be a family function. It could just be you went out for lunch or anything.
Yeah. I count that as a family function now in my 30s.
Sure.
30s. It's very far and few that I see.
There's families and you're functioning.
Functioning. Barely. But, I think if they take it, they own that photo, so they can kind of, like, it sucks that they're posting it, but there's really nothing you can do because in this day and age, the second someone takes a photo, it's going somewhere.
But you're getting that. I think you're talking about a different thing. You're that's the, like, yes, sure, they could do that, but that doesn't mean it doesn't maybe make them an asshole if
I
they
don't
know
think
you
it
don't
makes,
want them to do it.
unless you physically say to them, don't post that anywhere. I think they have the right to post this photo that they took.
I don't
Because
know.
you could have said in this, you saw the camera come out. You have every right to
Yeah.
say, as a free
Yeah.
willing adult, hey, just do me a favor, don't post that, or don't post that somewhere.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do
Victim
that,
blaming.
what's that really victim? Who's the victim then?
You're putting the onus on that person, which I don't know that that's necessarily fair. I think that I don't know. I think maybe it's common courtesy, and I know you're saying it's 2024. That's just what it is, and maybe you're right, but that doesn't mean I have to think that that's a good thing.
But you also could have said, don't take my photo.
But like I said, I could, or it's don't share the post the photo is more the thing that, and I might say that too personally.
Which you should. I think, but then if you go home,
But also, what if it's not? There's another scenario where it's not like, oh, let's take a photo. It's like you're in a group shot and they take a photo and they don't maybe you don't know or you weren't like ready for it. And then do you have to say for every night, like just in case I was in one of your photos, don't post it or something? I don't know.
you shouldn't have to, but like, then what am I supposed to, like, if I'm at an event and you happen to be in the background but if you're like in the background of the photo,
yeah.
do I have
I
to
mean,
like not put you in the photo?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, it depends on context in many regards.
But it's also not like the 90s anymore where like somebody had to like
Believe
go
me, I
out
know
of
it.
their way and like do this. It's
in the 90s you had to, or how are you sharing that photo by
well,
mail?
I guess like oh, look at the photo album or
Holiday
whatever,
photos.
family events.
Yeah. But it's pretty different from, the 20 people who might see that at your house versus potentially thousands of strangers,
But I think that's just what this is now, because like think about like the other big issue is like people filming out in public and you're in the background. Or like this is taking it to a much broader thing, or like
yeah.
people filming their videos at a gym and you're in the background of the gym, like
Right. But again, I think you're talking about like legality versus courtesy. That's all. It's just, I think there's a like,
I think
yeah, sure, you're allowed to do it, but maybe it's not always the nicest. It's just, it would be nice in certain situations just to be like, is it okay for everybody if I post this?
So me personally, I'm just going to put it out there.
Yeah,
if
I think this is a personal difference. For you,
like,
you don't mind.
It's not that I don't mind. It's like, A, am I that important that like, who cares? Like, I think that's a big, like, who cares that there's
I don't think that's part, but I think I don't know, that's putting it on me now that I'm like an elitist, that I'm conceited
not saying that, but it's like, why do you care that, like, who is like, unless this person has like thousands.
Sometimes I just don't want people to know what I was doing just because it's my business. Sometimes I'm just like, I don't need Ivan looking at the photo of me at lunch with my mom and then
I
going,
think
what are you doing at lunch?
That is on you to be like, don't post this.
Sure. I mean, maybe a little bit, but I don't know. I think it's
because I even like,
if
we are at if we're at a friend function and I take a photo of the entire room or whatever and you're in it, I'm not asking permission.
Again, I think there's degrees and there's context that's so different that could be, it's very different. To me, it's very different being at like a birthday party versus like a one-on-one or something.
Right. Oh yeah, like if it was like you and your mom at lunch and she took a selfie of you.
Right. And sometimes I'm just like, I don't need to be bothered by it.
You might just have to tell her, don't post it.
Yeah.
Which I don't think you would be an asshole for saying that in person.
Yeah, right.
I think it is different to assume that I have to ask people.
Yeah, I mean, I halfway agree with you. I think there's context here,
and being
but I think
what year we're in, where there's literally cameras, phones, photos taken. Do I think people over photo? Absolutely. And I do this for a living. Like, do I think the amount of photos that people take while they're at a restaurant, while they're at the gym, while they're even just like,
not enough.
Oh,
more.
You and I are going out to lunch at McDonald's. Let's take a selfie. Why the fuck are we taking a McDonald's selfie? Like,
because of the Big Mac.
But you know what I mean?
I think we've reached an impasse on
Right.
this. I think let's get to the specifics of the case, which is the same but a little different. Which is that she shared these photos first, but it sounds like that even more so for you means. Well, I don't know. Does that make it better or worse to share those photos?
What was the?
They're also the little more personal photos we're talking about here too. This isn't just you and me at lunch. This is like a pregnant woman's.
This is
revealed
why
body.
I think this is a very. This is why like I chose this case because it's a very weird and very like borderline creepy thing because like
from which end?
So these are very intimate photos.
Mm-hmm,
it's a family photo. There's potentially there's skin involved. There was a photo where something might have been out that people shouldn't have seen. There's a nip slip.
There's a Seinfeld reference, yeah. Yeah.
Where like you're posting these to social media. Yes, this person should have asked you permission because in a legal standpoint, as I'm a photographer, just because you post these to Facebook doesn't mean somebody couldn't take them and put them on their own wall and basically be like, they're my photos. Unless you say they're my photos, people are going to assume they're your photos. But this person...
This is me. That's me in that picture.
This person posted photos that they didn't want everyone to see to a publicly shared company's website. So it's your personal Facebook page, but even if you Google, you can. But
it's restricted to certain viewers. You have to.
You can, but you can still get them.
I mean, I think you have to like try to get them. I don't think you're gonna Google pregnant woman and randomly it'll come up. Like you'd have to.
And we've tried.
Trust me. Like it is like the analogy in real life would be if you showed a photo to like at a family party and then someone took the album and went and just showed it to the whole town. Well, and you're like, well, I didn't say to do that.
Was this woman the mother-in-law? I'm assuming she was tagged. Or
I don't know about the tagging business. This is not a thing that I do or take part in. So I have no idea.
Like privy to like was she one of the 25 to 100 people who was able to see these photos?
I think that is certainly the case. Yeah.
But then did she save the photos? Like, is that what happened?
I assume that she maybe downloaded them and reposted them. Yeah.
Which that is a whole like different thing that I'd be upset about. But at the same time, like, it depends on how they did it on the Facebook page because yes, you are still sharing these to social media. Sure. Are they restricted? Yes. But you are sharing them semi-publicly to people. So the reasons that this woman is upset that these photos were shared elsewhere is a little much because what's stopping somebody from going on their Facebook and, hey, did you see what so-and-so did? These are their photos. You know, like you can show somebody's photos.
I think this is the same thing we're running up before where I feel like you're focusing on the letter of the law. Like,
well, not really the letter of the law,
or
but
what
really,
could happen, just like the reality of it, I guess.
You have to be mindful whenever you're posting photos somewhere. That's not like that is a social media. There are places to share photos, like there's a bunch of photo websites that you can like send out the link to people, and they like SmugMug, I think was one of them.
Stupid name.
What's the photo? There's a photo website that like Yahoo owns.
ifunny.com.
Flickr might have been it.
Sure, that's something.
Where it's like you can post these to not social media, which is a place to share photos and stuff like that, and send them out to your family, especially like I said, intimate photos, family, not intimate like as in like fully, but like, you know, these are like private photos, and I know a lot of people have issues with this too when their child is born. Like they don't want you sharing their child's photo on Facebook for even legal reasons or, you know, other reasons. So there are other ways around it. So it's like, yes, the mother-in-law shouldn't have shared.
Well, to be fair,
photos.
It's not. Initially she thought she had permission. There was a miscommunication.
Right.
So that was, but then she like kept one for some reason and cropped it. Is that like what is? I don't know what that is.
Neither
It did.
that's
It didn't. Supposedly, it did include potentially revealing anatomy.
right.
And I also think like even if you crop out the wife's face, I mean, if you know who the husband is and you're a friend with
Right.
this mother-in-law on Facebook, you also know who the wife is. So
Right.
it's not like a secret.
And 'cause I'm sure there's also a thing that runs into it's like, well, my son said I can share these, so I'm sharing these.
Right. I'm another problem for me is that it's very hard for me to relate to the idea of the maternity photos
I
and
hate
wanting to take those in the first place.
They are
Yeah.
so cringy and just like wedding photos are a different thing. The baby is born photo, like here, let's take a photo. But and I haven't seen the photo, but you described it, the hand on the bare belly and my face. That's
I
gross.
believe it actually says he was kissing her pregnant stomach.
That's like that.
We don't need to see that.
That's
We don't want to see
oversharing.
that.
You don't want to
I will
overshare.
credit to Erica. She tried to undershare. She only wanted to share it with. She wasn't blasting it to the universe. At
But like,
least
did the people she shared it to actually want to see that? Probably not.
some people, I bet, do.
Well-
The straight people are weird.
Yeah.
This is something we know.
Yeah.
I'm living proof, and believe it or not, and
I still
take that
no,
as you will. Take
I
it as you will.
won't. Mm-mm.
Yeah, to me, it's very weird. I'm not, or I should just say, not straight people, but breeders specifically.
Breeders, yeah. It is. It's weird if you want
It
to
is
post
weird.
one photo, but it sounded like she paid for an entire photo shoots and like posted like multiple photos
Sure.
in this photo shoot. Weird, weird in my opinion.
I agree. She's
Um,
not on trial for that, but it is weird.
No, well, not this week. That'll be next week. But it is weird to anybody that does that, or like the people who are posting. That's the only weird because even like a bridal shower photo, those are fine. Child just being born photo, great. Wedding photos, cool. Whatever. It's something about like I'm exposing skin, and like it's supposed to be a loving family thing, but it's still like kind of creepy. And I don't know. It's very weird to me, that specific style of photo.
Yeah, I agree. You want to take some just for fun?
I do it every week.
Oh, yeah. I would love to see one. Just hire some pregnant women and you just go to town with them.
Right. I'm sorry?
You go into town, you take some photos.
So it is like, I don't think the mother-in-law, she had permission though from the son.
Right. I don't think you can judge her for that initial transgression because she was acting on wrong information. She's
And
not
then-
at fault for that. The question is she at fault for keeping the one? And is Erica at fault for being upset about that? Or is that just like, okay?
I think, okay, so minus there being some part of the female anatomy in this photo that shouldn't be out there, that maybe the mother didn't see or whatever, Facebook hasn't flagged yet. That's the other thing. Erica can just go on and like be like, this is nudity.
Yeah. Zuckerberg will have that taken down in a second.
But like, she did take, let's say there was like 30 photos. I don't know if we actually have a number. She did
Probably
take,
right.
so there's an okay compromise, I would say. She did take down most of the photos, but this is a photo with her son in it. And her son is presumably okay with this photo of him and his child. I guess the wife's just completely cut out of it. So it's just the child at this point. So it's like if
in a womb.
if the father and we both know in the womb that's a fully to term
It's a
child.
womb with a view.
So if his father said okay,
You made that joke, and as you're talking, I keep in my head hearing her body, her choice. I'm afraid we're going down a dangerous path right now, saying that it's if the man is okay with it, then that makes it okay or something.
but he's in the photo. It's ideally
Yeah, but so is she. I mean, even though her face isn't in it, her pregnant, exposed stomach is in it.
right.
I mean,
No,
that's
it's a weird.
it's not
touchy-
nothing.
It's a touchy situation and a touchy subject.
Is it
but-
different if it's his face and her stomach just in a not pregnant, not exposed, just like a shirt, and it's just his face next to somebody's
I don't
jacket?
think. I'm not taking the pregnancy into it.
Okay, so for just the exposed nature. But I mean, to me, there's no other reason that you would have a like unless you're I guess if you're at the beach or something and you're
Well,
in a bathing
I'm
suit.
ignoring like having a belly, but like if the mom,
So that doesn't make a difference to you.
it doesn't make a difference. The cropping of the image does. So it's like, yeah, let's say if they were at the beach and she just cut out, like if she just cropped the photo to be just the sun and like you could see like her shoulder.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
I don't have an issue with that.
no, I don't have an issue with that necessarily either. I do think it's changes it that it's a pregnant stomach. There's something very intimate and specific about that. That's like it specifically identifies her as opposed to he's just next to a sweater and you don't know really what that is. Like
That's
it's
how I
just his
refer to
face.
people. Hello, sweater.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the pregnancy thing doesn't. Maybe it's the
it's your maleness. You're not empathizing with women because you hate them.
my gayness of it, and not,
Yeah,
you know.
as I'm a feminist, so for me
Right.
that does matter.
But yeah, no, that doesn't like the entire part of it being like.
But what if forget about if say it was you? You wouldn't feel less weird if someone's face next to your shirtless body as opposed to a shirt on your body. That wouldn't change it for you.
If I posted those pictures already online, I don't know. Like I just wouldn't have posted those photos.
Well, yeah, that's the problem. Is we can't. It's hard for us to.
It's
But
hard
I
for me
think
because
that would
like,
be a difference. Still, that would make a difference to you,
if I was
it has
cut out
to.
of it, no.
even though it was your bare chest or whatever. It would be weirder for me. That would definitely make a difference to me.
Well, it's also just a weird fucking photo. Like,
I mean, I agree, but it's
why?
there.
Like,
It's where
I'm
we're
not
at.
gonna. I think our
It's the
next
place we're in.
podcast photo is going to be my face next to your belly
Ugh,
on both. Yeah, no,
horrible.
no, and like if she was asked by, if she was asked, hey, can you take these photos down? She should have taken them down.
Right. Well, that sounds like maybe we're at the verdict
Because it's
place.
okay, yeah. If you want to,
I mean, I think you're rolling. You roll into it. I think you just kind of
So-
maybe said what you think.
saying that, like, who's guilty, not guilty. Give me the.
Eric, we were deciding: is Erica guilty? Is she overreacting for her keeping that photo up, or is it acceptable for her to be a little bit uncomfortable with this?
So, Erica posted these. Did you hear that?
Oh, so yeah, I hear that somebody's.
Somebody's-
I don't know if it'll show up on the audio, but yeah,
somebody's motorcycle
motorcycling.
just flung by the neighborhood. I hate people. It shook
They couldn't
my
wait
desk.
to get to the verdict of this show.
I have a sign outside. This is recording. They don't. So
No respect.
I think
Bunch of savages in this town.
in a matter of speaking, yes, Erica did post these photos to a social media for a group of people to see, and unfortunately, yes, people can copy and paste these photos, or I think you could even tag other people to view them or share them on said social media. So you do have to be in that mindset that like other people can share these, and that maybe Facebook isn't the right place for it. Maybe more of a group text of people, or just a giant Facebook email feed or something. That's not a place for sharing photos like this to be potentially shared. Not saying it's good that it was shared, but this is something you have to think about when posting these these intimate photos. But do I think it's very wrong and very weird for this woman, the mother-in-law, to save all these photos and then post them under her account as her name for the world to see? Absolutely. I think it'd be different, like we were talking about, if it was her photos. Like if the mother-in-law was at the
she
photo
took
shoot.
them.
Right. Or if the mother-in-law was at the photo shoot and took a selfie and everyone saw her take a selfie and she posted that photo, that's her photo. You can do whatever you want with that photo. But these were taken from somebody else's feed and then was asked to, after they were approved to go up, hey, can you take those down? And then you keep one out of, like, she did it on purpose.
It was she like found a loophole. She was like,
It was a spite photo. It was, oh, okay, I'm going to cut your face out of it, but my son and his child, like, it's that kind of, like, that's the vibe I'm getting from this, which I think is wrong and spiteful. Like, fine, just save them to your computer and show your friends at bingo or whatever old people do. So
Like go on Facebook.
I don't think Erica is guilty of wanting her photos down. They're her property. Take her photos down.
Well gavelled, my friend.
That
Yeah,
was
I mean,
loud, wasn't it? That was
it sounded like metal, like you're hitting a tin can.
like
Did you get a robot hand?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, yeah.
makes a lot of things easier.
I, we had a lot of disagreements along the way about the nuances of these things, but I think we're reaching the same conclusion about specifically when it comes to this case.
Right.
I don't know that like the mother-in-law is totally like I don't think she's a monster. She might be a monster, but separately from this.
Monster-in-law.
Is that us? Who's that?
It's probably a movie. It's probably a show.
Yeah,
Lifetime
that's
movie.
somebody.
Yeah.
Isn't somebody in that movie?
Do
Anyway,
your thing. I'll look it up.
Barbara Streisand or something.
That's probably.
You know, it's a little petty and weird for her to keep that photo up after being asked to take them all down. And maybe she really thinks it's okay that she cropped the face out.
Right.
I don't love it. I certainly don't think it's a bad thing for Erica to feel weird about it. I get where she's coming from. It's a little bit strange. It's not like of all the things that can happen, what will be weird is if she now asks the mother-in-law to take this down and she still refuses. Then it's a very clear you're in the wrong. But even still, I don't think Erica's guilty. I don't blame her for anything except for taking weird maternity photos, which everybody seems to do, and it's weird. So not guilty.
It's Jane Fonda, Jennifer Lopez, and Will Arnett is in Monster-in-Law.
Great. Okay.
Yeah.
Barbara Streisand,
So,
Jennifer Lopez, they're similar.
So now let me ask you this question. If this was a thing, because I know a lot of people, older people, who will print out photos and frame photos. If the mother-in-law would it be different if it was printed? Like you walk into this mother-in-law's house and your bare belly is just like...
That is weird.
'Cause I'm sure you've seen that in real life. Like somebody took us like...
Not a pregnant lady.
Well, no, they don't. They're not allowed near you.
Framed family photos. I've seen that.
Right, or like a photo where it's like, oh, I might not like that photo, but it's printed in mom's house, so I can't.
It's not as offensive to me just because I think the reach is so much smaller.
Okay.
In your home, it's very different. The amount of people who are going to see that, unless you're like Tom Cruise and you're having parties with 1,000 people every week or something
right,
weird.
Yeah, I am.
It's like that is your family and close friends that are really going to see it. But if they came over and were like, could you take that down? Then I don't know. It would be nice if you responded to that request and said, sure, if you're not comfortable with it, I'll take it down, depending on what it is.
Well, they only take it down when you're there.
It is different to me, but yeah.
That just popped in my head too of like, I could see this happening because like, that's it's so weird in this day and age of sharing everything that it's like it's no longer private and it's no longer technically yours. So it's like, yeah, it's online. So if somebody wants to print out that photo and make it a t-shirt, I've seen people make weird things out of t-shirt, like a photo of a t-shirt. Have you ever seen the people who are like, take somebody's like, who passed away and it's like, they have a photo and it's like, we'll always remember blah, blah, blah. It's like,
sure.
Where'd you get that photo for? It's weird.
Well,
but that's like another thing because it's like by people oversharing, you're bound to be like, well, yeah, they're gonna take your stuff because it's like you shared it to me, so I can do what I want. It's kind of like back in the day. I think it was a big thing where it's like, here's the family Christmas card, and then your grandma would be like, show everyone at her bingo group, oh, this is little Johnny and like that kind of thing.
Right.
But yeah,
it's different now. Yeah, it's different. It's very different. You got to be aware of it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's the way the world should be. And like, it's the way the world is.
I've definitely stopped sharing certain things to Facebook. I only think like I share anything photo wise to Facebook anymore because like Instagram to me is more. It's less photos. Where like back in the day, Facebook you can share like 400 photos of your day out and whatever. Now it's just like, let me pop this on Instagram. If somebody wants to share it, they can. But it's a lot harder to copy and paste and save a photo on Instagram, let alone share it. Like I think it's a lot harder to just share somebody's photo.
I'm sure that there are plugins.
There are ways, and I'm sure you could also
screen
just do
screen
cap, right? Yeah. But like that has more thought into it than right-click save, or just.
I think that's what Snapchat's about. Is that you can't really do that with photos and stuff.
Right.
We need to come up with a sentence. We need to punish the mother-in-law here.
No more family photos. No photos.
No, no photos at all.
No. And you know how hard that would kill a mother-in-law or like a grandmother or somebody?
I think she's okay. Sure. I mean, that's done. That's number one.
Yep.
Number two, I think she has to start a TikTok account.
Mm-hmm.
She's got to learn a new form of social media. She needs to get 1,000 followers through her own original TikToks within, I'll give her a month. And if she doesn't hit that point in a month, executed.
You know she would. People love the weird like older people like trying to do Facebook stuff or like Instagram stuff.
I'm not that harsh of a judge. I'm giving her a chance to not be executed.
Now, there's the millennial pause. What's the boomer pause? It's just even longer? It's just...
The boomer pause is you're dead.
It's the entire video. It's the pause.
It's the pause we're all waiting to hear. Anyway, I guess that's our verdicts.
Yep, that's our verdicts, I guess.
Let us know what you think. Some passionate differences in this episode. It's a heated subject, this one, about everybody's personal beliefs, whether it be about abortion or whether it be about pregnancy photos or
religion,
social media sharing, or Israel and Palestine. Let us know your thoughts about all that stuff. Our email address is geeksontrial@gmail.com. Same exact place you can go if you have your own very controversial case, whether it be about social media, some other aspect of the internet or technology, movies, video games, board games, something geeky. Send that in to us. We're going to have an argument about it just like this, but at the end of the day, we will come up with a verdict for you and your friends or your loved ones. Send that in. There's also a handy-dandy form you can use.
And if you want to help us support and grow and be stronger, do us a favor. Do I have something on my nose? Do I have something?
No, sorry, I was a little...
Okay. You just learned about that today. Good for you.
I learned about that.
Head on over to patreon.com/geeksontrial. Just give us $5 a month. It'll be greatly appreciated. It'll help us grow, be stronger, and live and eat and pay our bills. Also, you do me a huge favor. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. Just even listening every week and just subscribing all over is a free way to spread the word and get those numbers up. Because at the end of the day, we're doing this for you. It's for you. And
it's not for us.
No, we don't.
That's
I
for
hate
damn
it.
sure.
Yeah. And what are you doing for people on the internet, Jonathan?
I don't do that much. But if I ever do something, if I get off my ass and do something, you'll probably be able to find it at my social media on Blue Sky, not Facebook, at Jonathan Estes, or on my website, jonathanestes.com, where you can find links to my other podcasts, my YouTubes, my stuff that I write, all that fun stuff. Check it out there. What about you, Ivan? Sometimes you do stuff.
Yep, only on Facebook. I'm switching everything over to Facebook.
Bold move.
Facebook.com/snackguy, I don't know. No, YouTube.com/thesnackguys, where you can get all my reviews about snacks, news about snacks, and other things about snacks. And hit me up over on the Blue Sky as well. That's bluesky.com/Ivan on. It's on the screen.
I don't know if there's an at. I don't know.
It's on the screen.
URL.
I don't actually. I just use the app, and I don't know anymore about the URLs.
You said that you have reviews and what was the other about
News.
snacks? News. And then you said and other. What's the third? Reviews?
Shorts and like little.
That's not one of the two? The shorts aren't reviews or
little
news?
skits. Maybe I'll do a skit every now and then.
skit.
Little
Okay.
skits.
Okay.
I'll rant while I'm walking through the aisles of Walmart. Did that the other day.
Yeah.
A big
That's how you ended up
Walmart
on
ranter.
that website.
Yep. And until next time, I'm Ivan Hahn.
I'm Jonathan Estes, and that's another one in the books. Call it